What's up, everybody? Jeffrey Lyles back at you. Another installment of Lyles Figure Files. Today, got a lot to talk about WWE related, Hasbro, everything basically, G.I. Joe Classified series, and a look at the stuff that I picked up over this past week that I plan to review hopefully within the next month on LylesMovieFiles.com. First up, I'm going to talk about the big news for the week, the weekend. Mattel was at the home stretch with its WWE Ultimate Edition New Generation scale ring with the Ultimate Edition Diesel. This is going to be our only chance to get this version of this project, and basically everything was on the line. If we got this thing funded, the sky's the limit in terms of what else we can get from Mattel Creations, what else the Mattel WWE brand will do with their WWE line in terms of this online resource catered exclusively to collectors willing to back a big project like this. So maybe in the next time we'll get a SmackDown with the big fist entrance stage, the Titantron setup. There's so many possibilities, but they were only going to be possible if we back this project. And just when it started, it was kind of slow. I think people were a little put off by the fact that the money was going to get taken out of your funds right away, unlike some other projects where kind of like you back it and then the money gets taken out when the project closes. So Mattel kept making changes. They kept really going like, all right, we're listening to the fan community. We'll make some adjustments. When this project first came out, we got the neon sign and that lit up. So that was a cool, feature. We got the ring. This is scaled to the Elite's Ultimate Edition scales figures. It's got the new generation setup, which kind of works for the 80s, the late 80 guys, like the 89, 90, 91 era. So you still had the Hogan, Sids, Flairs, Pipers, all the Golden Age guys still coming out to this. Of course, you had Brett, Mr. Perfect, Shawn, Razor Ramon, and the guy included with this set, the Ultimate Edition Diesel. This is going to be the only way we got Diesel in this set. And so you get Big Daddy Cool in all of his glory. Mattel said he's going to have the wrist tape, he's going to have the elbow pad, so we're going to have the complete look of Kevin Nash as his biggest iteration of his career up to that point in the 90s. So this is a good figure. I was looking forward to it. I'm a huge fan of the Ultimate Edition. I started getting the figures back with the Bret Hart and Nakamura wave. I then went back and got the Ronda Rousey. I still haven't reviewed her yet, but I was really excited about the advances off of the original Elite line because of the double jointed elbows. It's such a breakthrough for this guy. And then with Series 8 with the Macho Man from, just from his 92 era, we got to see the inclusion of butterfly shoulders, which really changed up some more things. I think with those additions, they've almost caught up to the AEW figures in terms of articulation. They're close. They're not quite all the way there yet, but this is a huge step up. And of course, kind of like with Jax when they did the classic figures, the classic superstars, and then they said, hey, we can make this even better. Here's our deluxe classics. So then I went out and got a bunch of these figures with the new increased articulation, and then I started getting upset because they weren't putting them out fast enough. It's kind of the same way I am with the Ultimate Edition figures. I just say scrap the entire Elite line, just get all our classic figures in this new format. In any figure, really, but specifically for me, as a predominantly Legends flashback collector, I want more Legends with this Ultimate Edition articulation. And I've got about 500 figures, so it's a lot that I want to switch up into this new setup. So anyway, we get Diesel, and he looks good. And when it started, we had the ring, we had Diesel, and we had the neon sign. That was what we needed, and that's what we got with 5,000 backers. People were kind of like, is that enough? Maybe, maybe not. And as usual with a crowdfunding project, we get the tiers. So the next tier up was a Doink, an Ultimate Edition Doink, and that figure looked amazing. It had the different head sculpts, the cloth jacket, comes with a mallet, so you get Diesel versus Doink just to start off, right? And that was a cool one. If there were 7,000 backers, and then the third and final tier was ring skirts, and we get a WrestleMania and an In Your House one. And I'm someone who loves to mix up the ring skirts on my rings. So when I'm shooting my figures, I'm not just using the same basic boring ones. With this new scale ring, I'm not going to be able to use those third party ring skirts. So it's kind of like I really wanted this project to get up to that one. So I have at least 3 viable ring skirt options. And things were going okay. It was slowly going, like maybe we're around 2000. And Mattel was like, you know what? I think we can sweeten this deal a little bit better for you guys. So shout out to the guys at Mattel, Bill and Steve, for deciding we don't need that marketing budget. We'll throw in another figure. And that other figure was the man of the hour, the guy who I have 8 million elite figures already, the Macho Man. And I just decided to bring some of these guys out here so you can see that I do have several Macho Man figures. But they decided we'll throw in Macho Man and we'll make this thing even better. Friday the 13th was the cutoff date. If you back the project, there's nothing extra with this deal. So you get a WrestleMania 10 Macho Man figure. So that's him in his black and silver and white when he took on Crush. And for whatever reason, that's one of my favorite WrestleManias. So every match on that I have a sweet spot for. I really like that attire from Macho Man. Plus, that's what he's wearing when he's shouting out Bret Hart, like, yo, this is the new guy. This is the real leader of the new generation. After he finally beats Yokozuna to claim the title. And then Owen Hart's looking in the aisle like, I hate you. You spoiled my big moment because I already beat you. And now you're getting everybody carrying you over their shoulders. You suck, Bret. I'm going to kick your leg out of you again. And then, so to sweeten that deal, he's got the entrance gear with a cloth attire and a different head sculpt, so you can get Macho Man as a commentator. So while he's sitting there with Vince and Bobby and whoever else is there, and it was like that was all everyone needed. So this thing was at 2,000. By the time Friday the 13th wrapped up for the deadline, the sucker was already at 8,000, and it was just really cool watching every tier get smashed. So when we got the ring at 5,000, it was like, yay! Can we get to that next $2,000 or 2,000 backer amount to get Doink? Yes, we can. And then just for an encore, we got the ring skirts, and I was very happy. I don't know how many people were as excited as I was to see that $8,000 back. I don't know why I keep saying dollar. 8,000 backer amount hit. So we get the ring skirts. So that is a crazy value. And it was one of those deals where the more people backed it, the better the value was. So we get 3 Ultimate Edition figures. So we get ring skirts, we get that neon sign, and we get a ring. And I think when you break all that down, it was a really good price. But if you missed out and you still haven't ordered, there's still a few more days. So even though you won't get the Macho Man, you still get the Doink, you still get the ring skirts, and you still get the Diesel. And that's still not a bad deal, but I think anyone who missed out on Macho Man is really going to regret it. And I think a lot of the momentum has kind of calmed down. As of right now, it's at 8,171. So I think after we hit that 8,000 backer mark and the deadline for Macho Man Pass, people are like, okay. But for everybody who did back it, including yours truly, we're excited and cannot wait to actually get this bad boy in our hands next year. And I guess maybe before then we'll see what Mattel has in store for us. I'm really excited to see what they do. Maybe it'll be a steel cage. Maybe it'll be a set like Piper's Pit or the Snake Pit. There's all kind of possibilities, but now they're wide open thanks to us backing this project. So really, really excited about it. And of course, big shout out to the Macho Man for making this all happen. Speaking of other projects that we've been backing and supporting and waiting to see how the process goes with it, Hasbro's HasLab Galactus is now at 12,274 of the 14,000 backers it needs to go into production. Now this one goes through the end of the month, so we've got a few more days to get this going. I am looking forward to adding this mammoth figure in my collection. It's going to be the showcase, of course. I still have to clear out space from my, Marvel Universe version of Galactus to set aside 5 or 10 more inches for this guy to set up space. I'll have a little bit more time, of course. I got a whole year to clear that space up, but I'm looking forward to it. Now I'm really curious if we're actually going to get to those other tiers, like the Frankie Ray Nova and the bonus Silver Surfer. Now, I know Marvel hasn't done anything, or Marvel, the Hasbro squad hasn't really shown anything else. They haven't done their own live streams before. I know they've been doing some stuff with some big time influencers. So, of course, you will not be seeing them on my channel because I am the opposite of an influencer right now. Just baby steps. But anyway, looking forward to seeing if this guy gets made with at least Frankie Ray Nova because she's the one I really want. I've already got a Silver Surfer, so I'm not that worried about that one. Today, we had some big leaks from the What's on Joe Mind podcast. That is the absolute best podcast name. These guys have revealed a lineup of G.I. Joe classified series figures coming from Hasbro. And it is an incredible lineup that if it is even remotely true, means I'm going to be spending a lot of money on G.I. Joe classified series figures in 2022. First up is a deluxe figure, much in the same way as the Snake Eyes, Commando, and Timber 2-pack that we got. The first one is going to be Croc Master with a croc. Now, I'm a little surprised we didn't get Mutt and Junkyard because I think if you think of characters with a dog, with an animal, Mutt and Junkyard are basically the one right after Snake Eyes and Timber. And I thought it would probably be easier for Hasbro to kind of take some of the parts from Timber and retool it for Junkyard. But I assume this means we're going to get a completely re-sculpted or totally new sculpt of Junkyard and not just one that's a subtle repaint of Timber. But I guess in that case, maybe we'll see a Law and Order version? I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, Croc Master's cool. He gives us another one of those named Cobra villains who's not necessarily a top tier one, but somebody who's kind of on that third tier of named Cobra villains. And at least one Croc. But of course, I'm going to need more than one because Croc Master is normally rolled around in the comic with more than one Croc. And I think it's more impressive to have him with at least two. So I have to look around to find something comparable to the one that's included with him. So we can have a little army of gators going after them. Next up, of course, is the Cobra Operative, who everyone has to have in their collection. Storm Shadow. Now, we've already gotten the Arctic version, which is basically his third outfit with like the camouflage deal. This one, I'm hoping, is the Cobra Ninja version. I have the Arctic one kind of sitting with the Cobras just because I needed a Storm Shadow villain. But it's hopefully if we get this White Ninja one, I'm shifting that one over to the Joes. This is my preferred version of Storm Shadow just because I like the opposite on the cliche where Snake Eyes was in black and the villain Storm Shadow was in white. I think that was a nice twist. And Cobra, I always felt that they needed that ninja after Storm Shadow turn. Eventually we got Slice and Dice, who I hope we actually get in the classified series as well. But for now, I just need that Storm Shadow ninja teaming up with Firefly, giving all kinds of trouble to the Joes. So in the comic, we had Snake Eyes versus Storm Shadow, but in the cartoon, for some reason, they had Storm Shadow's mortal enemy being Spirit Iron Knife. That was cool because I like Spirit. Spirit is really cool. He was featured heavily in one of my all-time favorite G.I. Joe issues, issue 31, with the assault on Snake Eyes' cabin in the woods. And Destro, Firefly, and Crimson Guard Fred assaulted Snake Eyes' cabin, and it came down to Spirit, Airborne, and the Soft Master to save him. Really, really great issue, and just one of my all-time favorites. So getting another figure in that setup would be really, really cool to me. So hopefully we'll get Airborne at least. I assume we won't ever really get a Fred, but I can find somebody in a jacket and just give him a hair piece or whatever and have my Fred to go along with this set. And then just take him out in the woods and have some fun. Spirit's also going to come with Freedom, so we're all covered on that. And we're going to have the absolute definitive Spirit in this line because I feel like they don't need to mix around. We've seen the Hasbro team really respond to criticism and feedback from fans and collectors who wanted more of that classic real American hero style. So I'm looking forward to seeing this guy because Spirit's one of my favorite Joes, and I think if we get him in that same style as we've gotten Flint, Lady J, Heavy Artillery Roadblock, and the Commando Snake Eyes. This is going to be, just an absolute contender for Best Figure 2022, right out the gate. So hopefully we'll see him soon. Next up, we're going to get the Cobra Officer. Now, I have started to call my Cobra Officer, my Cobra Troopers from the Target exclusive Assault on Cobra Island as my officers. But now we're going to get the Cobra Officer with the silver gray attire. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do in terms of switching this up from the standard Cobra Trooper. Hopefully, it's just like the old school thing where we get the silver gray straps, gray weapons, and like the gray bandana. I don't really need anything else switched up. We get that, I will be more than happily satisfied, and we'll probably get 2 or 3. I would love for them to include a bonus head though, with scars running across his eyes. So for comic book fans, we can get that Scarface version. I know he in the comic wore red, but I always thought of him as more of a Cobra Officer. Hopefully we get that soon though. And next up, the Crimson Twins. And I think with these guys, we've got just about all the major heavy hitters of Cobra in terms of the Cobra hierarchy, or the leadership hierarchy. I think the only one missing at this point will be Dr. Mindbender. And after the Crimson Twins, we'll definitely need to bump the Dreadnoks up a little further in terms of priority. But yeah, I cannot wait to see what the Hasbro team does with these guys. I don't want them in red. I want them in their blue, silver with red accent glory. And yeah, I always love the Crimson Twins. They're some of my favorite Cobras. Some of my favorites. I just love their color scheme and how they mirrored each other's outfit. I thought the concept was so cool. And then the cartoon, they were also really cool. They were like these crazy acrobatic guys just flipping around doing crazy stuff, and somehow the Joes didn't recognize or couldn't bust them when they were in their extensive Enterprises outfits. But yeah, looking forward to those guys, and maybe we'll get a set of them in suits later on. Next up, Stalker. One of my favorite Joes. We don't need the Arctic gear version. Give me the straight up original 13 camouflage outfit with a beret, and I'll be set. I mean, we basically got this figure already with Snake Eyes. We just need him to do him in camo, give him the cool head sculpt. I'm set. And we'll be closer to getting another member of that original 13. At this rate, I think it's safe to say we've got Breaker, we've got Snake Eyes. I don't want to count Scarlet because I feel like she's due for an actual version that's closer to her original outfit. And I feel like at this point we kind of need to get that one back in rotation now, because I know we've gotten the original one, we've got that variant version, but this original 13 look, one of my favorites, and it's a cool outfit. They don't have to worry about it being scandalously revealing or anything, so they don't have to tone it down. Just give us that leotard, and we can put her, Snake Eyes, Stalker, and Breaker together, and we can get that G.I. Joe issue 2 team that hunts down Quinn in the Arctic. Definitely a cool issue if you wanted, if you need a comic book recommendation, check that one out. But yeah, Stalker is coming. Good news for all of us. Then next up, Crimson Guard. So we have Tomax, we have Zaymont, and now we got a new whole army of Cobra Elite Troopers to build. Big fan of the Crimson Guards. I think when they re-released and they did that 2-pack or 6-pack of Crimson Guards figures, I got 2. So I probably have more Crimson Guardsmen than I actually need. I think with the classified series, I'll probably stick to 4. Wink, wink. But yeah, I figured these guys are gonna look like a really sharp set of figures in this classified series setup. We've got the boots, and I think they're really gonna pop with that red, especially against the Vipers, the Cobra Troopers, and just So you have to, of course, build a decent army to have more Cobra Troopers, have more Vipers than the Crimson Guardsmen, who should stand out as the elite. So yeah, I think 4 is about good. That's 2 each for Tomax and Zaymont, and they can all flank Cobra Commander. I'm already coming up with display ideas, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this guy. Zartan gets a member of his family, not a Dreadnought, but one of his siblings, with Zarana. I figured Zarana was not going to be too long on the wait list for this because Zarana is one of the more popular characters on Cobra's side, and she's kind of dusted Xandar as one of the more important members of the Dreadnought community to get done. I think her outfit has a lot of different, unique looks, so it'll be interesting to see how much they retain from that classic real American hero style. Hopefully, it's the whole deal, cause I like the shoulders with the armored layered look, and just the whole deal, the whole look of her outfit with the rips and tears, the knee pads, the sheath. It's a really wild outfit, and I think it fits that whole Mad Max punk rocker motif of the Dreadnoughts entirely. Dusty's also coming, and Dusty gives me another member of my absolute favorite G.I. Joe squad of the 1985 line. That's Flint, Lady J, Shipwreck, Airtight, Barbecue. So we've got three of them so far. Ninja Snake Eyes, which I guess we sort of have. I can't wait to get that Zartan because I'm going to swap out the silver visor that comes with Zartan with the original G.I. Joe Series 1. Because I didn't get that exclusive one like a lot of people did because I didn't want to pay $36 for Snake Eyes. But I have no problem paying that for Zartan. So go figure. Anyway, hopefully this is the original version, Dusty with the helmet and the just the whole dust camouflage deal. He was cool. The trader himself will be in this line now. And yeah, so I guess that means Shipwreck or Airtight should be next on deck. But I'm really excited that we're getting so many of the 85 series Joes so soon and everything. Now we're going to get a 2-pack of Vipers. It's going to be the Viper and the Viper Officer. So I'm hoping with this set we get the actual classic look with the rolled up sleeves for at least one of them. 2 packs of army builders is an awesome idea. So I think this is good news for all of us who have been dutifully buying one trooper from Target.com or one Viper and one Viper from Target.com to slowly build our army of Vipers. I think right now I have 5 Vipers, so a 2-pack will be so much easier to just get a bunch of them and be like, great, I've got 10, 15 Vipers, I'm solid. So I'm really appreciative of this 2-pack option to get more than one right at one point. Then we're gonna get Target is doing an exclusive set again because they've really enjoyed this partnership with Hasbro on the G.I. Joe brand, and they are transitioning. There's no more Assault on Cobra Island. That's gone. So all those locations that we still hadn't seen on the map, we're not gonna worry about them. They're shifting over to Tiger Force versus Python Patrol. Now the interesting thing with this rumored leak list is we're going to get some figures that we have not gotten in their regular versions. First up is Outback, and then we're also going to get the Cobra Bat and Python Patrol Trooper. I was not a fan of Python Patrol, Tiger Force, Night Force, any of those variant lines that were excuses for Hasbro to crank out repaints, in some cases very gaudy repaints of the Joes. My boy Flint is the Tiger Force leader, but even still, that wasn't enough for make me to go, alright, I'm going to get these Tiger Force figures. I just hated those outfits. The color schemes and the tiger stripes, it looked really bad. I did think that the Cobra soldiers looked a little bit better just because of the Python motif, and they had that really gaudy yellow. I don't know. I thought it worked a little bit better for Cobra than it did for the Joes, so maybe I'll pick up a few Python Patrol bats, even though I don't know how quiet and sneaky bats can be, because that was the whole thing, not being picked up on the radar for the Python Patrol. But I think they could look cool. Just we'll see how they look. But I'm definitely not getting a trooper because, boy, bad stuff. So yeah, that is what's going on that end with G.I. Joe. So I'm very, very excited and looking forward to seeing the actual prototypes of hopefully all of these leaked lists of figures. So I've been looking all around trying to find the AEW Unmatched collection, Wave 1. I've seen Kenny Omega, and that figure looks cool in person. The head sculpt's still not quite right, and this 3 for 3 with head sculpts from the cleaner Yeah, I don't know what the deal is, why we're not getting a great head sculpt, but I so appreciate Jazzwares continuing to crank out these head sculpts to get it right. But the airbrushing on the tights looks great, and I actually like the packaging because it's not the black and gold; it's black and silver, so it stands out, and it's like, okay, this is a different set of figures than what we've been getting. The Miro figure looks cool, I suppose. I don't necessarily know if I like the way the hair is set up and the way the eyes are done, but everything else is definitely the best man version of Miro. I didn't like that one as much, so I'm probably gonna wait for the Redeemer version of Miro, even though it's probably gonna take a lot longer. So for this first wave, I'm really only looking for a bit Britt Baker, DDS or DMD. Um, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting these figures. I'm glad we get another wave of AW figures. I just need Target to do a better job of keeping these guys in stores because I've only seen one unmatched figure, and I've seen the remnants of AW Wave 6. So I've seen Sheeta, MJF, and Phoenix. So I haven't seen Pentagon and the only other Wave 6 figure that I want, Jake Hagar. I've been to Walmart. I haven't seen Series 5 with SCU and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus yet. So I guess I need to still get out there and keep looking for them. Alright, so that's what's the news. That's everything on that front. Now let's just go over what I've picked up this last week. Because I've got a bunch of stuff, of course, to review as always. First up, Wheeljack from the Transformers Earthrise Kingdom. I have been slowly getting into this line of Transformers. I saw them and I started going, these figures look pretty cool. And even though I was getting way into the Masterpiece series, I had spent a lot, got a lot of those guys. Seeing them on shelves made it a lot easier for me to go, I think I need to start getting this line. And I'm still playing Super Catch Up. There's rumors coming up that the leader class is going to include a new Ratchet and a new Ironhide, which is great because if you try to find these figures on the secondary market, like me, they are like Roger Rabbit eyes popping out of your head expensive. So I'm really hoping that's true because I want to get these guys. I'm waiting on my Target order from Trax, so I'm still waiting to get that guy. And there's still a few more of these Earthrise Kingdom figures that I'm hoping to get. Speaking of figures that I also want to get at a cheaper rate than the going secondary market price, let's get a new Bumblebee out there to everybody who's late in coming on board with this line. It's not a Walmart exclusive. Pretty please, Hasbro. Thank you. So I mentioned her earlier, but Sheeta picked her up. And yeah, the funny thing with her is I have been waiting to get another female figure in this line because I got the Riho, but I did not find, wasn't really that pressed to track down the Brandy Rhodes figure. But now I've got Sheeta, so I can now have an excuse to open up Riho, have somebody for her to fight. Riho actually comes with the AEW Women's title, which is cool because she held it for so long. There's another reason why I'm actually actively looking for the Britt Baker figure, because now I can have two women wrestlers from AEW going at it, and then throw in Riho, so I've got a bunch in there. Dorkside Toys had a really massive, cool sale last week or so, where you get a bunch of this Marvel Legends Zemu Wave. So I grabbed the Scientist Supreme from AIM in arcade. They were cheaper than retail, $15.99. Hasbro, of course, as you know, is raising the prices of these Marvel Legend figures to $23. So anytime you can get them for cheaper than that, that is a good thing. And finally, the figure I picked up today that I was very excited because I hadn't been looking for them. And my Target stores have not been the greatest in terms of stocking stuff on the shelves. Colonel Mustafa, aka the Iron Sheik, from that time that he was part of the Triangle of Terror with Sergeant Slaughter and General Adnan facing Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. This is cool because I got the Sid Justice figure. Now this is good planning for Mattel because Elite 86, which is he's sort of part of, even though you don't see anything with the sell through here, he's part of this wave with the Sid Justice figure who's in the referee attire to referee that SummerSlam 91 match. So now I'm really close to reenacting that match. Who knows when we'll get a General Adnan, if we'll get a General Adnan figure, but at least we can have a tag team, basically, with the basic series Sergeant Slaughter as the Iraqi sympathizer. So yeah, looking forward to reviewing him. Look for him pretty soon. I got the Bam Bam Bigelow Legends figure, so I was looking all over different targets because the Legend figures they alternate between being really hard or very easy to find in stores and online. So I went to like probably 6 or 7 targets like over the span of 2 weeks, trying to track down Bam Bam Bigelow, looking on their website, trying to find him. And of course, I find him, and now every store I go to has several Bam Bam figures on the shelf. But I was able to knock out that review, which you can see on loudmoviephiles.com. Only bad thing with that figure is it's ECW style. So I want a Sabu, I want a franchise Shane Douglas, Chris Candido, I want the works. It's like they've opened the floodgates and I want so many ECW figures. Hopefully Jazz Wares will crank out a classic style ECW Taz so I can throw him in here with this, because I know we're not going to get an elite version of him. And hopefully that version can pull off 192 versions of suplexes so I can throw around Bam Bam Bigelow off the stage into the crowd, etc. Alright, so that's it. Let me know which figure you want me to review. Is it Curl Mustafa, Sheeta, Wheeljack, or any of these other guys, because I'm always looking for ideas for which ones to knock out first. So drop me a line in the comments. Let me know which one you want to see me knock out first. I'll be back next week, hopefully, with more figure reveals, figure news, and hopefully have some new additions to what I've picked up. Alright, well, thank you so much as always for watching. I'll be back with the fellas on a normal podcast. So for now, thanks for watching. This episode of Lyle's Movie Files has been filed.